Hello, welcome. You are in the Level Up Your Reader's Achievement in the Next 5 Days challenge, and we are so glad you're here. I am Marnie Ginsberg of Reading Simplified, where it's my mission to help you, classroom teachers, or even homeschool parents, streamline your reading instruction and accelerate your students' reading achievement. And I've got a special friend here today to help me teach you guys just one activity that we're going to use. I will use it with my friend, and I would like you guys to try it with at least one student in your schools or homes and see how far we can accelerate your kids. Okay? So thanks for being here. To get started, let us know where you're from and what you teach. So we'd love to know a little bit more about you guys. And if you're just coming in, you're in the right spot if you are looking for the Level Up Your Reader's Achievement in the Next 5 Days challenge. This is it. Thanks for being here. And if you see this and you're not signed up, there is a link on this post for you to sign up. And if you do sign up, you'll get free access to the materials and also the daily emails that are part of this challenge. So I hope you will sign up if you aren't already, although I know many of you guys are. So let us know again where you're from and what you teach. And what we're going to do is teach this one activity called Switch It that I think you'll find can save you tens, if not even hundreds of instructional hours for your students. And it will also, well, for you actually, it can save you planning time, it can save you instructional time, and it will help you accelerate your students' reading achievement. Hi, Ashley, glad you're looking forward to it. Thanks for commenting. So what we're going to do after we get everyone in and welcome people, thank you, Mariana, glad you're here, is I will tell you what this challenge is going to look like, how it's going to go, and then we'll get started teaching our young friend this one activity, Switch It. Again, if you're just showing up, I'm Marnie Ginsberg of Reading Simplified, and this is the 5-day challenge. We're going to see how far our student can come with this one activity called Switch It. And go ahead and write in the comments where you're from, what you teach. So let's see. I have a first grade friend here, and she's actually a rock star reader. She's doing really well. She's reading at the 2nd grade level. So she's not struggling and she's not beginning. But I think you'll find it interesting how we can take her still further in her reading. For those of you who were at our last challenge, we were working with a student who was a little behind for kindergarten. How many of you, go ahead and let us know if you were here for the last challenge. That was in November. We had a kindergartner and we did the exact same thing, except he was in a different position. So I think of the benefit of Switch It as taking us from down here to being an excellent, strong, mature reader, able to read pretty much anything fluently. So that student kind of was at this part of the continuum, and there is a lot of value in what he was able to accomplish, and also in looking back at that challenge so that you can learn how to move a beginning student or a struggling student that far down the continuum. And indeed, he did move far. But this young friend, she is going to be moving in a different place. She's going to be moving further on in the continuum of how this one activity progresses. So it's kind of going to be interesting how these two students pair to give us a holistic view of Switch It. I'm so glad that so many of you are commenting. Great to have you here, Rebecca, Tara, Barbara, Andrew, Ashley, and Andrew was here before. Amy, welcome from Central Texas. I'm originally from Texas. So we will do Switch It here in a minute. Let me tell you what the challenge is going to look like. I'm going to go live every night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will do a brief introduction of maybe 5 minutes or less, teaching a little bit, and then I'll work with my friend for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll save some time for questions. This first day will possibly go a little longer because we have more to do to kind of get started and make sure you're settled, and then the other ones will be a little briefer. Welcome, Ruth, 3rd grade. That's great. You might have students who might be kind of similar to this young lady. So if you haven't signed up, please do sign up so you can get the free stuff. Okay, let me show you the free stuff that you're going to need if you haven't already downloaded it. In the Level Up Your Reader's Achievement in the Next 5 Days Facebook group, under the header at the top, there is a tab that says Files. And there are two files there. This one called Introduction to Switch It, and this one, which is the Informal Reading Assessment. So today is a little bit more prep work because it's the beginning, and so go ahead and print those out and get your materials prepped. The Introduction to Switch It packet is going to tell you how to do Switch It. Well, first it's going to show you word lists. There's my friend. Word lists that you can use, and I will use some of these in my sessions. It's also going to give you procedures for how to do the activity, and this is really vital because a lot of this is going to look somewhat similar to things you may have done before, but some of the nuances are where all the power is. So please give this a try the Switch It way, and these nuances may really surprise you, and the benefits may really boost your readers. Not only are the procedures helpful, but the feedback components are really critical. Hopefully I'll be able to give feedback that maps onto how this is organized so that you can learn the best way to get optimal instruction, because that's what we're here for today. I want to show you how you can streamline your reading instruction so it saves you time, and then also you can move your kids along a little faster than what traditional instruction might do. And finally, probably what's most important initially are the letter sound cards. So you can print these out on cardstock and cut them out. I don't recommend laminating them because you can just make a new one pretty easily. But don't let the materials prep get in the way. I want this to be a super easy challenge. If you don't have time to do that, just cut up a few index cards and make little squares out of them. The thing that I'd like for you to consider though is that don't use regular letters that stand alone like refrigerator tiles, but rather use something like this where one sound may have two letters, but it's on one tile. So I'll show you another example. Here is the K sound, like in sick. It's one sound in the word sick, right? Because there's three sounds. S, I, K. And we want our students to get that concept that one sound is one tile. And then if we do it with these, some kids don't get the concept because this doesn't represent one. And that's why I recommend going to the trouble of printing this out on cardstock, or like I said, making your own real quick for the word list that you select for your student. Okay, so that's a little background on that material. The other main material that will help you do this challenge, level up your reader's achievement in the next 5 days, is this Informal Snapshot. Now, this is not a full-blown reading assessment in any way, but what it does is provide you some information that will help you find a good match for your student. So the first thing is that letter sound knowledge, and there are places for you to score your student. And the other part of the assessment is nonsense word reading. And this is very helpful to get at the underlying sound symbol correspondence that she or your student may or may not have. So those are the two things you need to print out to do the full-blown level up your reader's achievement in the next 5 days. You just tuned in. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Marnie Ginsberg from Reading Simplified, and we are introducing just one activity today, Switch It, that is designed to save you time and boost your reader really far. So let's see what else is necessary to get you guys started. We have Ruth, already mentioned her, yes, and Lisa is from Pennsylvania. Combined first through third. Okay, that's quite a mix. And I'm sorry, Alice, you're having trouble signing in. It looks like you're here, so maybe if you refresh the page, I don't know if somebody can refresh the page. Sometimes that will help the Facebook feed come in. Okay. So again, if you haven't signed up, please sign up, and it's on this post a link so that you can get these materials. Also, wanted to point out that The other component that I'll be providing is daily email trainings. If you haven't gotten that, you should be able to get that soon. Every day, we give you a little tip about what's to come in preparation for the evening session. Welcome Dana from Alabama, and Michelle from Georgia, and Lynn from Kentucky. We're glad you're here. So I think I should probably get started with our young friend before she gets antsy. Are you guys ready to see a little switch it? Okay, so what we have here is a board with some lines on it. And if you don't have a board, this happens to be a dry erase board. If you don't have a board like that, just get cardstock and draw some lines with a Sharpie. Don't go worrying about the materials. It's really not the stuff, it's just the technique. Okay, so she's got some, I'm going to turn this down. That's right, you got some vowels there on her board. And I'm going to give her some letter sounds. And what we're going to do is pick some words from the word list that I think that matches where she is on the assessment. So I gotta do a little more talking, okay? Okay. Here we go. So on the assessment for letter sound knowledge, she just did absolutely great. Again, she's not struggling, but we're still gonna see how we can accelerate her reading in these 5 days. If you have a third grader or a fourth grader who's just a little bit behind, she may map on really well to that student, or even an eighth grader who's really struggling. This level is more about, and what we'll do is more about the reading level and the underlying sound symbol decoding level, and not so much about the age. So don't let the age or the grade mess you up. This is about what level from a decoding standpoint is the child at. Welcome if you're just coming in. I'm glad you're here. You're part of the Level Up Your Reader's Achievement Challenge. So in the scoring sheet for letter sound knowledge, she got all the consonants and all the consonant digraphs, but she had trouble with short E and short U. So we'll probably work on that. And then with the nonsense words, she did great at many levels. She got a total of 7 out of 12 correct, and when she missed it, she was still super close. So I think she's really strong in this area, but we can build her up even more. She missed, after the CVC level, she missed 1 at the CVCC level, 1 at the CCVC level, 1 at the CCVCC level, and so on. So each level she actually was able to do something. So she's really, like I said, she's really close, but we can push her to the next level. If you haven't already commented, let us know where you're from and that you're here and what you teach. So since I know that she's pretty good with her consonants, and she's almost there with all of her short vowels, I'm probably going to target those short vowels, and I'm going to pick a list that has adjacent consonants at the beginning, at the end, because I want to challenge her sound symbol processing, her phonemic awareness, or her sound symbol processing. So let me show you where I'm going to start, and then we'll dive in. This is a word list from the packet that you can get if you go into the Facebook group, and we're going to start right there with CVCC. Great, Rebecca, glad to see some first graders from Oklahoma here with us. So I'm going to do that list. Are you ready? We're finally ready. Let me make sure I got all the letters, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. You're a good sport for being patient. All right.
And my name is Vivian.
Oh, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Didn't mean to hide your name, but if you want it out there, that's great. Okay, Alice asked if there's a particular test. Yes, this is an informal test that I designed that you can find in the Level Up Your Reader's Achievement in the Next 5 Days Facebook group under the Files tab at the top. So we're going to build a simple word now. This is the word and, okay? When you build it, I want you to say each sound as you do it. Was that easy?
Yes.
Okay, and the word is?
And.
All right, let's switch it by adding. This time we're going to add something to make it sand. I put my feet in the cozy sand, warm sand. And. Oh, good. Sand. I like how what she did was said each sound separately, and that's great. I really want to be sure that she knows how to do that, because that is what's going to help her become a really great reader. She's already nailing it so far. Send. Let's switch it to send. I'm going to send that letter to my friend. What sound is that?
Send.
Oh, very good. So you got the eh, and the word is?
Send.
Send, okay. Let's switch it to sent. Okay, check the sound. And the word is sent. Okay, notice I'm switching every sound. And also notice that she's doing really well. So those of you who are in the last challenge, you'll know that I'm actually going to want to push her to a level where she's going to have a hard time, because that's where we're going to get her to accelerate. But I'm also curious to see if she knows these short vowels. So I'm switching in and out short vowels because that's what is going to challenge her the most. So let's do a couple more of these levels, even though this is pretty easy. Let's switch it to went. I went to the store. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. Let's see if she's doing that. How are you doing with went? And the whole word is? Perfect. Okay, let's switch it to wet. We're going to take something away to make wet. And tell me the sounds.
Wet. Wet.
Except this by itself is?
Wet.
Whoop. Okay, good. Whoop.
Et.
I'm pretty nitpicky about segmenting because that's what is going to help her become a great speller and a great reader. So Lori, you missed the first, yes, you'll be able to see the video later. It's going to be on this Facebook page for at least 24 hours. And welcome Julie. So she's rocking it. This is kind of easy for her. I'm being really careful about the phonemic segmentation, and notice who's doing the work. This activity is very similar to what a lot of people have been doing traditionally for a long time, except that a lot of times the teacher will say, okay, take out the S and put in the W. And so the teacher is actually doing the manipulating. But when she is forced to do the manipulation, she is when it's at her challenge level, she's really going to have to push her brain. So that's one thing that's kind of different about this activity that I'd like for you guys to notice. Okay, Lynn, you asked about if you had a script to follow to choose the words she builds. You base your decision on which words from how she did on the informal assessment, the snapshot informal assessment. And then that guides you to generally which list. And sometimes you're going to make up some of your own. Welcome, Julie from North Carolina. Okay, so I want to get to a couple more vowels, so I'm going to give her some at this level. Thank you. You're just really quick with that. Let's switch it to let. Let us switch it. Let. And when you pull it down, will you say the sound?
Ooh,
nice.
Et.
Okay, now can you make it left? This is my left hand. Did you get it?
Ooh, et.
And the word is?
Left.
Bingo. Okay, loft. A loft is like a small room up above all the other rooms. Tell me the sounds.
Ooh, oft.
And the word is?
Loft.
Okay, nice. So that was easy for her. I had her at the CVCC level, but I'm going to move it up a little bit, okay? Welcome, Lisa. That's right, Pamela. If it's not easy, then what do you do? Well, I was mentioning earlier that I had, I had a student from the last challenge that I did who was at this level. If you think of this activity as a continuum of challenge of difficulty, and we had a student who was right here, an absolute beginner practically, because in kindergarten of November, he knew 6 or 7 letter sounds. So we moved him much further down the continuum, and I'm going to try to get her to a place where she's challenged as well. So you'll see with her a hard level, and if you want to see what it looks like for an absolute beginner or a child who's really struggling, I recommend that you go to readingsimplified.com, and the first video that comes up is a 5-minute video that shows the student that was a beginner who moved from knowing 6 letters sounds to 17 in the 5 days, and he moved from not being able to do what she could do even with CVC 3 sound words to being able to do it with 5 sound words, C, C, V, C, C. So yes, some kids are going to struggle, and I'm hopefully going to get her to a point where I give the feedback that you'll use that would be similar to a child who was struggling. Although she's certainly not struggling, you can still give the same kind of feedback. Yes, Lisa, it's very helpful for kids who are dyslexic because their main core issue is that they don't have strong sound processing or phonemic processing or phonological processing. This attacks that head on. Okay, so we're going to move up a level. And actually, yeah, we'll just do that. I think that level still might be good because I still want to see her with another vowel. So I'm doing the very next word list. Let's build the word duck. Duck. Can you do that?
Duck.
That's right. Okay, how about luck? I got some good luck recently. I had some good luck. Tell me the sounds.
Luck.
Very good. And how about lick? Don't lick my lollipop.
Lick.
Okay, you say that sound by itself?
Lick.
Very good. Okay, I've got a trick for you. Listen carefully. Slick. Watch your step. The roads are slick. What's the word?
Slick.
Yeah. Yep.
Slick.
Good. So we got to something that was a little more challenging. She still didn't need my help, but if she needed my help, back to you didn't need my.
You're right.
She didn't know or the letter. Okay, she couldn't find this. But if she needed my help, I would have given the feedback that is in the introduction to Switch It packet. This is where you get the good tips on how to help your student when they're struggling. Welcome, Linda from Miami. Okay, we're on slick. Let's change it to, and I lost my page. Here we go. Flick, like I'm gonna flick the word, the letter sound. Thank you. You gotta help me. The teacher's not very responsible. Thank you. Flick. Slick to flick.
Flick.
Very nice. You put these sounds together, but what are they separate?
Flick.
Good. Can you look at it?
Flick.
Yeah, you did it right. I just wanted you to just look at it when you said it. Can you look and say?
Flick.
Open it by itself.
Flick.
And the word is?
Flick.
So this nitpickiness is going to help her when she gets to a really big word like anti-disestablishmentarianism. And if she can really have purely well lined up sound symbol correspondence, then this will be the trick that she needs to read those hard words. Welcome, Trish. Okay, from flick to fleck. I got a fleck of dust in my eye. I don't know if that's the best sentence. Probably not. Oh, but you were fast at it. What are the sounds? What? Okay, and the word is?
Fleck.
Okay, what do you guys think? Is she having trouble? I know there's a little time lag, so I'm going to answer the question. No, she's not. I need to go to a harder level. So I'm going to go to the hardest level on this list. But don't worry, we have something that we can do the next day if we need to. So this is hardest because there are consonants and, consonant, adjacent consonants on both sides of the word. So if I can find all the letters we need, Vivian, let's make the word stand. I'm going to stand up. Stand. Can you make that word? And you're almost done. Maybe 3 more. Oh, can I hear it? And the word is?
Stand. And
switch something to make it sand. Again, I love the feel of the warm sand. Tell me the sounds.
Sand.
And make it band. Have you ever seen a good band play? Like a trumpet?
And also a French band.
What kind of band?
Like those bands in the bucket.
Oh, yeah. Funny bands. Okay, like a rubber band. Okay, tell me the sounds in band.
The and the.
Okay, I'm looking for a new letter. Don't look what it is. It's a mystery. Let's switch it to brand. Coca-Cola is a brand. Tell me the sounds.
Wait, and the.
And the word is?
Brown.
Okay, so she is doing great. Everybody give her like a thumbs up or some love or something like that. What can you give her from over the internet? I know that they're thankful that you are here. Not everybody is going to be willing to come and visit me every night of the week at this hour for when they have to go to school. So I know they're thankful. Thank you so much. You did great. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll see her tomorrow. And what I'm going to do tomorrow is really challenge her with something a little harder than even these. I don't think she's afraid.
Read it?
Maybe we should read something. No.
Yay.
We'll try a switch it that's just slightly higher than that. Okay, so thank you. You did a great job. So that is an example of switch it. And I didn't push her to the hardest level that she could possibly do because she really just is so capable, and she kind of surprised me. But tomorrow we'll move her even further, as I promised. So you can head home. You did a great job. So we like I said, she's kind of far down the continuum, but I still want to push her a little bit further. So what she's going to get to do tomorrow is nonsense words, but she doesn't want to leave. She loves you guys. Everybody's, I think we're getting some happy faces about it. But there she goes. Okay. Welcome, Lori. Glad you're here. How many lines is one person's question. The number of lines is typically about 5. You might even need 6 if you have a longer, you want to get to a really hard word like a CCCVCC word. But the boards that I happen to buy aren't that long, so I just tend to say, oh, this one will just have to go off the board to build that word. I don't have forms for this challenge, but there are some forms that we use in the Reading Simplified Academy, which is the membership site, which fleshes this out in more depth, Lynn, to your question, because she asked if there are RTI forms. Okay, so any other questions, let me know. I'm here now just to answer your question. That was an introduction to Switch It, some of the nuances of it, but we didn't push her to the hardest level. So tomorrow I'm going to actually get her to a point where she hopefully needs my help some so that we can keep moving her along. She is a strong reader for first grade. She's not struggling, but she can still become a better reader. She could become more fluent. She could read multi-syllable words more easily. She could spell more easily. And so this activity will pan out with that, with those skills. So Carissa says that she lives in Jamaica. Yes, if your kids are below grade level, then this is actually perfect. You just start with the first list, the CVC list, and you particularly follow these words that start with continuant consonants, because continuant consonants like s and and those are easier for the student to hear, so they can pull the words apart more easily. And that's how you get a student into this. And then a lot of feedback from the teacher. If you'd like to see what a student who's really struggling looks like, you can, and who's kind of on the earlier part of this continuum, you could go to readingsimplified.com, and there's a 5-minute video that shows the student who was in the last challenge we did in November. It shows his progression from Monday through Friday, moving from not being able to do CVC words to actually doing this list by Friday, the CCVCC list by Friday, and gaining a lot of different letter sounds in the process. So Michelle says, should this be one-on-one or a small group? Excellent question, Michelle. Thank you for asking that. For you guys, I recommend, since this is a challenge, you're learning something new, you don't have a big break, you're probably in the middle of a full school week, just do it with one student to try it out, to really see how far you can take that student, to optimize your skill at doing it, and so you can really learn the nuances that I'm talking about here in the procedures and the giving feedback. And then later, definitely use it with small groups, and that's how I recommend it. This is used all the time, is in different groups, because I'm going to have one group doing CVC with short A and short O, another group doing short A, O, E, I, and U, but still at the CVC level, another group doing the adjacent consonants like C, C, V, C, and so on and so forth. And then at the highest level, which is what we're going to do tomorrow, I would do CCCVCC words like strand, but at the nonsense word level, so I can quickly go between letter sounds and tax her system. Tax her phonemic awareness or phonemic manipulation and her ability to have strong sound symbol processing. So how long should each session be? So this was a little longer because I kept trying to find a place where she was going to be challenged, but you could do it as little as 5 minutes, even 3 minutes. But the first time, you know, you're kind of new at it, maybe this way anyway. So I would put aside at least 5 minutes. So ideally, if you guys could give the informal assessment to one student tomorrow, and just the 2 things, the letter sound knowledge and the nonsense word reading. And then that would be a great benchmark to get started for the week. And if you had time to also do one small section of the list from the Switch It packet, then that would be great. But if you don't have time for both, then at least try to get the assessment in so that you can see the progress across the course of the week. On the other hand, some of you may have enough information from working with your students or from other tests that you have that you know pretty much what lists would be a good challenge for your students, so you can dive right into that. So Kim asked where you can download these lists. Both of these documents, the Introduction to Switch It and the Snapshot Informal Assessment, are both in our private Facebook group, Level Up Your Reader's Achievement in the Next 5 Days. And it's under the Files tab at the top of the header of the Facebook page. So if you haven't already joined, please join. There's a link, I think, in this post, and if it's not very easy now, I'll add it very soon in the comments when we're finished. So how would you use this? Lynn asks as part of a guided reading group. Brilliant question. So I recommend a 3-part guided reading session that begins with rereading for fluency, so the student practices something, builds her confidence, and practices high frequency sight words over and over. Then moving into word work, which would consist typically of 2 activities. One would be Switch It, another would be reading words, whether they were working on short vowel words or advanced phonics words like the long vowels. You'd have a different activity there. And then you would end with a guided reading text, a new text where they're addressing their decoding issues if this is their main need, which it typically is for K through 2nd grade readers or anyone who is struggling. So Switch It is sort of the middle part of a 3-part guided reading structure, Lynn. That's a good question. See if I missed any. Okay, good, Dana. I'm glad you said that you have students that will benefit from this strategy. Yes, Linda, this session is recorded, so it will be here. Well, if all the technology treats me well, it will be here. How many of you have seen things like this? Or how many of you have done things exactly like this? Or how many of you don't really address this level of specificity with the phonemic, at the phonemic level or the sound-based level? So you guys may be all over the map in terms of how much this relates to you. If you want to answer that kind of question, that would be interesting to see. Because moving letters around is kind of classic. We all do that, right, in our classrooms. But there are some subtleties that make this really powerful. Number one, I'm not doing the work as far as I can avoid doing it. I ask her to do the work. I say, well, change stand to strand. And she has to think in her brain, what is different between stand and strand? She has to know where it goes. She has to know what sound it is, and she has to know which letter maps onto that. So all of those are really taxing cognitive tasks that forces her to have some cognitive flexibility. And this is the core skill that we all use if we're good readers. Anytime we come upon an unfamiliar word and we don't know how the vowel sounds, or we're not sure about where the syllable breaks are, we play around with sounds and we flip things in and out until we come up with a word that makes sense. So later on, well, probably not her, but you guys probably have had kids who might come to the word brown and they look at that OW and they think brown, and that makes sense. But what do they have to do to make sense of that? That they know that brown isn't a word, so they have to pull out the O and plug in the ow. That is a pretty impressive feat that kids don't come out of the womb being able to do. So this activity basically trains the brain in seconds or minutes a day to be able to do that. Even though she was really strong, she still was slow when I gave her the harder ones, like changing sand to stand. That took her a little more time, and that shows that she could still develop in the skill, because we want her to be as fast as we are at this task. Okay, Okay, Michelle, you've only switched the beginning sound. So yes, this will really push your kids, because what can happen sometimes when you're only switching the beginning is that kids can turn out their brain to not really be noticing the rest of the word, not noticing the rest of the inside parts of this word, because they know something's always going here, and it's positional. So when it's random, or it seems random to the child, then they have to use their sound perception and not just pattern from the activity. So that's really good. I think that's exciting that you could see that change, Michelle. I would love to hear how that goes. Okay, Pamela, you've done this, and you've done, oh, this student only had one letter name and no sounds. Okay, so you've done something very similar, but maybe using the letter sound cards that are different might be beneficial, so that they get the concept that one card or one tile is one sound. Okay, that's neat. Like that could all be one sound. Dana, you also like how the student's manipulating. That is key. Absolutely. It's fun for them too. I've almost never had a kid who doesn't like this activity. Oh, Pamela asked a good question. If the student has a lot of trouble with the words, would you redo it? No, because I don't want them to have those words rattling around in their phonological memory, because the point is not the words themselves for that day. The point is actually that they develop strong phonemic segmentation, strong phonemic manipulation, and strong sound symbol processing in general. So those are underlying skills that are really more important than the value of any one word. Yes, they need to know high frequency words, but that's kind of what they're going to do in other activities and what they're going to do in reading. So definitely switch the word list so it keeps it fun and more interesting, and they don't remember in some deep way what to do because they just did it yesterday. Great, Pamela, you can try it with CVC words. Yep, and see if that works. And then if they can do it with CVC, then move them up to the next level. Oh, Unique, you just started it. Great. I'm glad to see that with one student. Okay, Lori says she's done making words with kindergarten, but you scaffold it and you tell them what to do. So yes, thank you for sharing that. That's kind of the key difference that I keep seeing. Oh, okay. So Patricia has a student with a speech impairment. Actually, I don't make adjustments typically, maybe just more elongating. You haven't really seen me do it with this student because she was doing so well. But if I had, you just do more exaggeration of the sounds. And by the way, I've taken a little while, so feel free to go if you guys would like, but I'm just going to answer a few more questions for those who are interested. But I don't have any more formal training today. So I don't want to keep you because I want this to be a brief thing, but a couple more questions are coming in. So if you had a speech impediment student and or any kid who's kind of at the beginning level, and you say, of course I have a few more up here to give them some challenge, a few more letters. This is the word rat. Let's switch it to rot. And if they were having trouble, they couldn't, they started to do that. They pulled out the R. Sorry, it's kind of bright. There, they pulled out the R, the R. I would say, well, listen where the sound is different. You have rat, and you need rot. So it's the exaggeration and the emphasis and the slowing it down that makes the sounds that are linked together in the word become more separate so they can start to attack it. And if they miss the last sound, then you would just exaggerate that one. Well, no, what's the ending sound in rat? We need a t in the ending sound of rat. But the key is that I'm just exaggerating it or elongating it and always blending it together. And I'm asking the student to do the segmenting or the manipulating. So hopefully that makes some sense. Again, if you look at the readingsimplified.com video, the one at the top of the page, you'll see a student who is really struggling. And this kind of exaggeration and elongation was what helped him to break through and move up the levels really rapidly. Yes, Linda, I think definitely with ESL or ELL kids, the more demonstrative that we can be, the better they will be able to do it. Of course, as soon as they can do it without our help, we withdraw as fast as we can. So only when they're needing that help would we provide it. And also with an ELL kid, if I could, I'd have a picture dictionary, and if I did the word map, I would show them a map. So, okay, you guys, I really appreciate your enthusiasm, your questions. These were great questions. I couldn't have come up with better questions myself, and I've been doing this activity for a long time, so you guys hit the main ones. Those are just super. And so look for the email tomorrow morning for the next day's activities. I hope you can get started with this activity tomorrow. Either give the assessment or maybe dive right into Switch It. Depends on what's best for you guys. Patricia, the website is readingsimplified.com, and it's the video at the top for the low student. Again, if you haven't signed up, please sign up with the link in this post. And if you have a friend that you think could benefit from this, we're going to keep expanding our knowledge about Switch It so that you can get a lot of bang for your buck with your kid. Please tag your friends so that they can find out all this free professional development. And I'll be keeping, I'll keep looking at these Facebook posts and answering your comments. So keep the questions rolling throughout the day tomorrow, and we can celebrate how your students are doing and answer any questions that you come up with. All right, Unique, thank you. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys were here, and I hope this is beneficial. Looking forward